Okay. Today we're on day 11 for Advent of Code. Chances are, if you're watching this, you've already read through the prompt, but just a quick summary. We have these monkeys that have starting items and they throw them to each other. And each time they throw them, we do this operation and a test if it's divisible to figure out which monkey to throw it to. And that number is called a worry level that we're incrementing. And by the end of it, so all this stuff happens. This is just example data. By the end of it, we want to know what is the level of monkey business after 20 rounds of stuff-slinging simian shenanigans. Cool. Let's get into the code. So I'm just importing the read file sync function from the file system library. I'm using that to read my input. The input looks like this with all the monkeys and their data. And my strategy with parsing the input is to go line by line and throw it into a JSON, which I'll use to access the data in my actual code. So we get here to rows equal file.split. And I'm going to define a TypeScript interface for monkey. So monkey has an ID that's a number, a array, which is numbers of starting items, an operation to perform, an operand, test divisible, which is the number here, to monkey if test is true, and to monkey if test is false. Now, one thing, most of them have, myself times a number. This is operand here. This is operation. But you can see here we have old times old. So this is times itself. I'll show you how we deal with that here in a second. So let's define a variable called monkeys. This is an array of that type monkey. And we're going to just define some constants here from our file. Number of monkeys is 8 and number of lines per monkey. This just helps me with parsing parse file. I'm not really going to go over this. It's mostly a bunch of string manipulation. That's what all this is here, converting stuff into numbers and just getting indexes of what we need. But what I want to do is I want to say monkeys of I equals all of these variables. So hopefully now I can just console log monkeys and show you what that looks like. So let me save that and run this code. And so now you can see monkeys is just this array of JSON objects. Okay, so you see that? You believe me? Great. And now what I want to do is, this is just looking at all the starting items. We don't really need to do that because here it says array. I can show you the starting items if you want. These are all the starting items. Okay, great. Let's keep running through the code. Here's some open and close comments with nothing inside of it, just for fun. Let me zoom in a second here. All right, so we're going to start with a variable called monkey map, and this is just a map where we have the monkey. This is the index of the monkey, and this will be the number of inspections that each monkey performs, so number of tosses, basically. And so we're going to initialize all those to 0. And now we're going to step into the code of the logic. So part 1 has 20 rounds. And for each round, we want to go through all of our monkeys. And we want to get the starting items for that monkey. And then we want to loop through all of those items. Now, we're going to increment the number of inspections for this monkey by 1 each time it touches an item. And we're going to check for what the operation is and what it's supposed to do. So if it's multiply, and it doesn't equal -1. The -1 case is used when it's like old times old. So you'll see operand is 5, 1, 3, 4, 7. I put -1 here for the monkey with ID 1 because that's the one that's old times old. Okay, great. I think that's thoroughly explained now. We'll multiply the worry level by the amount. So item under inspection times equals monkey.operand. Otherwise, we're going to multiply it equal by itself. So this is old times old case. Otherwise, if it's a plus operation, and if it's not, doing it to itself, then we'll just plus equals monkey.operand. Otherwise, it is doing it to itself, so we'll say plus equals item under inspection. So that deals with the operation piece of the logic. Then we need to divide by 3. This is specified in the problem. So we take item under inspection, divide by 3, and Matplotlib that. Next, we need to decide which monkey to throw to. And for that, we have this test divisible. So we take item under inspection, whatever value it is now, which is really our worry value, and we call the modulo operator on it. And if it's 0, then that's our test. If true, that we send it to. So if true, throw to monkey 3. In this case, for monkey at index 1. If false, throw to monkey 5. So we need a true conditional and a false conditional. If it's true, we're going to push onto the starting items for the to monkey if test true, that item under inspection. And if it's false, then we're just going to push it to the to monkey if test false. And now the monkey has thrown all the items, so we want to set their starting items equal to empty array. We weren't popping them off here. We were just going through them. That would be another way to do it, is try to pop them off. But we'll just set it to an empty array. And then as the monkeys are all throwing stuff to each other, this will either fill back up or stay empty, or whatever happens based on the input that we get. So now I want to loop through each monkey and log all the starting items. This was just for some debug as I was going through the code. And then last, we're going to spread the monkey map into an array. And then we're going to call the JavaScript sort method and sort it in descending order for the answer to the problem. So let me go ahead and save here and run. And we can see the monkey with the most inspections is the monkey at index 6. And the second most is the monkey at index 5. So we'll just take 243 times 236 to get our answer, 57,348. Just double check that, 57,348. Okay, for part 2, we're no longer dividing by 3. We need to find another way to keep the worry levels manageable. And you'll find that if you don't divide by anything, your worry level is going to exceed basically the maximum number that JavaScript can handle. So what I ended up doing was multiplying all of the, let's see, I don't think there's anything down here else to explain. Oh, we also need to do 10,000 rounds. That's the other thing I was looking for. I just took the product of all of the divisible by, so 7 times 3 times 2 times 11 times 17 times 5 times 13 times 19, and divided by that instead of 3. And that's okay to do because of what I'm about to explain here. So I think I have a bunch of comments here on what I did. So we want to divide by some number such that the test condition will still be satisfied, so that we could still, divide by 3 and throw to monkey 3, but it needs to be a number or get the remainder of dividing by 3. It needs to be a number that's small enough that we don't exceed the maximum JavaScript safe integer, which is this number right here. You could just put this in your console and figure out what that is. So I have some examples here. There's a lot of people in the subreddit talking about congruence modulus. I read a little bit about that. But really, you just kind of take the product and divide by it. It's probably the same thing. I just don't know all the fancy words for it. Anyways, for example, let's take monkey 1 and 3, where the test is divisible by 3 and 11. So we know that 3 times 11 is 33. Now we can use the mod 33 operation to determine if a number is divisible by 3. So you have 15 mod 33 equals 15, 150 mod 33 equals 18, 300 mod 33 equals 3. And so all of the starting values are divisible by 3, and also all of the results are divisible by 3. Now let's take a number that's not divisible by 3. 200 mod 33 gives us 66.667, which is not divisible by 3. I think that's actually divide, so this is not quite right. Let's see. 200 mod 33 is 2, which is not divisible by 3. But this was incorrect, so sorry about that. We can also use mod 33 to determine if a number is divisible by 11. So we have 44, 121, and 22. Sorry, these are the answers, 11 and 22. Both of those are divisible by 11. But if we take 111, which is not divisible by 11, mod that by 33, we get 12, also not divisible by 11, but it is by 3. So just knowing that we're treating both the AND case here, not the OR case. So we can just use the product of all test divisors to modulo the worry level. To get that, let's set mod equal to 1. And we're just going to times equal it to this monkey.testDivisible. So that's this right here for each one as we loop through and initialize our monkey map. And then I can just console log that. And let's see the modulo. So it's this really large number, which is good because we want to divide by something large. Okay, let's keep going. So now in our code here, the main thing is this divide by 3. This is going to go away. And instead, we're going to mod equals that mod value that we made earlier. And the other, so now I want to delete this. And we need to change this to 10,000. Save. And now if we run, we can just multiply this times the second one. Let's see, my puzzle answer was this. So let's do this times 116,421. Is that right? Yep, that's the answer. So thank you for watching. I hope that helped. And stay tuned for day 12. Bye-bye. Yeah.